Yes. Good morning, friends. So, this evening, on request of one of my viewers, we are going to make a proper installation tutorial for Linux. Now, before you watch this tutorial assumes a few things. Okay. First of all, you are running on a UEFI system. If you don't know what that is, you can Google that up. If you have a computer that is recently new, like it should be at least it should only be like 4 or 5 years old. If you have a computer like then if you have a computer like that means chances are you're running UEFI only. Second, I assume you've already obtained the installation image through a USB stick or somehow. If you don't know how to do that, you can check how to do that. Or this section of the installation guide tells how to do that. Okay, very good. Now, the third thing is. You want to wipe your hard drive and install only Arch Linux. That is the third thing assumed. And finally, you know a decent bit about Linux and tech in general. So, assuming these four things, this tutorial is built for you. Okay, wow, very good. Let's begin then. First thing that you want to do is boot into the live medium. You will see a screen something like this with a colored prompt. I'm using SSH to connect here, but you should see a full black screen. Okay, very good. Now, once you have booted here, first thing is you would want to set your keyboard layout. If you have a standard English keyboard means you don't need to set anything. But if you don't have a standard keyboard means this is the command for that. Load keys, whatever you want to put. In my case, I'm using a US keyboard, so I put US only. Okay. If you see this command, localctl list key maps, this shows you all the possible keyboards that you can apply. Like you see all of that. There are many different keyboards that you can apply based on your language. If you see this DE here, that's for German. CZ is for something else. Dvorak is for Dvorak, and that's and all. Okay. Once you have set your keyboard, what you can do is you have to verify if your system is UEFI. That you can do using this command. If this directory exists means then it's UEFI. Doesn't exist means it's not UEFI. Nothing can be done. You can't continue this tutorial. I'm sorry. In our case, it exists. So it's returning some value. No, that means this file exists. So it's good. We are on UEFI only. Next thing, you will want to connect to the internet. To connect to the internet, I already assume you have an Ethernet cable plugged in. If you don't means, please take a second and plug one in. You don't have Ethernet means you have to connect through Wi-Fi only, and you can do that with this amazing tool called IWCTL. If you type that real quick, I don't have a Wi-Fi card on this virtual machine, but usually what you would do is you would type this command, station list. This should show you all your Wi-Fi devices, Wi-Fi adapters. Now usually you would see something called WLAN 0 here. So station WLAN 0 scan. This scans the networks. This command gets the networks that it has scanned. And then once you have found the network that you want, you can type this command to connect to your network. It should prompt you for a password if required, and enter the password and connect it. To exit out of this, you can simply type exit and you're back to the prompt. Okay. Once you have got your internet working, you will want to check if your internet is working by pinging some random website. I will be pinging the archlinux.org website here. If you want to stop, this means you can press Ctrl+C and stop it. Okay, very good. Now it's time to partition your disk. The wiki recommends that you use this tool called fdisk, but it's a command line tool and personally I don't like using it. I very much recommend you use this tool called cfdisk. Okay, cfdisk lets you to do this in a nice GUI interface instead of using that text. So since you're on UEFI, what you should do is you should create a GPT label. Okay, DOS is only for legacy systems, and till this day I don't know what SGI and SUN are for. Since you're on UEFI means you have to select GPT. Okay, wow. Now, as you can see here, we have no partitions here. If you would have had any partitions, and assuming you want to erase the disk, you will have to delete the partitions. Okay, I'll just quickly create 3 and show you. Okay, and okay. Okay, assuming you have these three partitions and you want to delete them, you navigate through the interface with your arrow keys, and once you're on a menu that you want to interact with, you press enter. Okay, wow. Now see, I want to delete this means I'll move with my arrow keys and press delete. Same way, I'll up and down are for toggling between partitions, left and right are for going between menu options. Okay, and go down, delete this also. There we go. This also delete. Now, first thing we have to create a 100 megabyte partition. Actually, many people say 100 megabyte, but I like to give it 1 GB. This is where your boot files will be stored. Okay, wow. And we can set the type of this. We can set the type of this to UEFI system, because this is where your boot files will be there. Next thing you will create is swap partition. Swap partition means it's kind of like virtual RAM. Like when your main system RAM gets filled up, the operating system will use this only, so that your system doesn't crash. Okay. So for swap, usually a good baseline is to keep the swap double of your RAM. So I've allocated like 2 GB RAM to this VM, so I'll keep 4 GB of swap space. Type Linux swap. Okay, wow. Very good. And then finally, you can allocate the rest of the space to your root partition. This is where your system files, home directory, config files, everything will be stored. Okay, I will give only 8 GB, otherwise my full SSD will get filled up. But ideally, if you are installing on real system, means you should give everything. Okay, good. So we can write the partition table, type yes to confirm, and we can now quit. Beautiful. Now we want to create file systems on these partitions. Okay. To list your partitions, you can use this amazing command called lsblk. This will list the partitions you have in your disk. SDA1 is our boot partition. If you remember, we created a 1 GB partition for that. SDA2 is our swap partition, which is 4 GB. SDA3 is our root partition, which is 8 GB. Yes. Okay, good. Actually, you need more than 8 GB for a proper install, but for now, this will suffice, as I don't plan to. The system is only to teach you guys, no. So yeah. Now you will need to make file systems on these partitions. Okay. For your boot partition, you have to use FAT32 only. No other file system will work. So to do that, we can do mkfs.fat-f32/dev/sda1. Okay. Be careful, guys, to not make any typos here. Typos you make means that's it. Wrong disk partition and everything gone only. So that's why. Please make sure to check what you have typed and then only press enter. It's not reversible. Okay. Please understand that. Once you have done that, you can make the swap partition. Okay, to format the swap partition as swap, we will do mkswap/dev/sda2. Okay, and finally, for SDA3 we have a bunch of different choices available. Okay, you can either use ext4 or btrfs or xfs. If you don't know what these are means, you can go Google it. But for desktop Linux, usually the simplest choice is ext4 only, so we'll use that. mkfs.ext4 dev/sda3. Okay, beautiful. It has created our file systems and we are ready to mount them. I think you know what mounting a file system means. If you don't know, means basically it's basically mounting the file system allows your computer to see what is inside the disk. That's it. Okay. Again, let's run lsblk to verify that our partitions are the same. Good. Now we can start by mounting them. First, we'll start by mounting SDA3. Okay, we'll mount this to a directory called /mnt. Why we are mounting here means this is where the Arch Linux installer generally checks for the root directory. Like whenever you install, no, you are expected to mount your root partition to this directory. So that is just a sign convention which we have to follow. Okay, once you do that, we can click enter. Inside this mnt, we will create a new directory. This is for UEFI partition. Okay, so mkdir/mnt UEFI, and we can mount /dev/sda1 to mnt/UEFI. Okay, wow, beautiful. Now what about our swap partition? Actually, for swap partition, you don't need to mount it anywhere. You just turn it on with this command. Okay, very nice. Again, let's run lsblk to check our mounts. If you notice here, in the previous time we ran it, we didn't have any of the mount points. But if you notice here, now 3 mount points have come now. This shows that our partitions are now being mounted properly. Okay, wow. Now comes the fun part. Actually installing the system to the disk. Very good. We'll do that now. Before doing that though, you might want to check if your network mirrors are proper. You can do that with this amazing command called reflector. Okay. There are a bunch of parameters that you can use, but I just usually I just run this reflector -- save hc pacman.d/mirror list. What this command does means it fetches the latest mirrors and saves them to the mirror list file. Okay, that's all it does. So it does this so that if any like old or broken mirrors are there, they get replaced. So yeah, that is a good thing. Okay, this one all we can skip through. Select the mirrors. Okay. Now this is where we install the system. Okay, install essential packages. You see that? No, that only we are going to do. We'll start by running this command then. Backstrap kmnt base Linux firmware. Now this wiki entry, it only tells you to install these packages, but in reality we will need some more packages as well to manage our system and configure it. I'll clear the terminal in just a second. Oh yeah, and by the way, to clear your terminal you can use Ctrl L or type clear, whichever works. Backstrap mnt base Linux firmware. Okay, we'll also need a text editor. I'll be using Vim. If you want, you can use Nano or any other text editor. I'll be using Vim. And yes, you can also install network manager, which is for your network. Now if you have only Ethernet, you can use another daemon, but I like network manager as it has a nice little interface. Okay, and yeah, that's it. You should be done. Again, you have to wait for this to be done. I will see you in a while after this is done. Okay, good morning friends. We are back, and the backstrap has finally taken place. Once this is done, what we are going to do is we are going to generate the fs tab. Okay, now what does the fs tab means? It's just a small file that lets your system know what drives, what volumes, what partitions to mount on boot and where and all it should mount them. That only the fs tab says. Okay, well, now usually we would have to write the fs tab on our own, but the Arch Linux install utilities gives us a nice script that generates it for us. Okay, so now let's run that. It's called a gen fs tab. Okay, well, now if we just run this command for a second, gen fs tab -u/mnt. If we just run this command for a second, you notice how there's 3 distinct sections, one with our root partition, one with our boot partition, and one with our swap, which are SDA3, SDA1 and SDA2 respectively. Do you see that? Notice how there's a separate section for each. Actually this one is on one line, but the text is wrapping because the terminal is small. But this is also one section. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here also. Notice how there's 3 sections, so 3 partitions. That's how you know that this has taken the drives and partitions that we configured earlier. Okay, now since we put this /mnt argument here, this command generates the fs tab with the root relative to /mnt. So /mnt is taken as the root over here, if you can notice here. So that's how this command works. Okay, gen fs tab and under this -u/mnt. Okay, very good. Now what this -u does means it just identifies the disks by UUID. Okay, UUID is like a unique identifier which does not change across reboots. So that's why we use this only. If we use by default only, means like it uses the standard dev SDA3, dev SDA1, which might change across reboots. So it's not advisable to use that. Now you see, if I just run gen fs tab /mnt, See, it has used dev SDA3, SDA1, SDA2. So yeah, there. That's why we don't use that. Now that we know how this command works, let's redirect its output to our fstab file. If you remember where our root directory was, it was mounted on /mnt, no? Good. So now we take this and we redirect gen fstab-use output to /mnt. Good. Once, oh wait, my bad, mnt/etc/fstab. Once we do that, we can see the, we can just check it once, what it looks like. Wait, let's get into Vim actually. Yeah, do you see that? It's exactly a fstab. Oh, also for those of you who don't know how to use Vim, it's really simple. Okay, literally, it's really simple. All you do, you don't even need the HJKL. For just basic use, you can literally use the arrow keys: down, right, left, up. Okay. If you want to insert text, just press I. You will notice the bottom there say that you're in insert mode. Write whatever text you want. Press escape. That's it. It's literally that's it. And press I again, backspace, do whatever you want, escape. And once you're escaped, you can do :WQ to save the file. That's all Vim is. Literally, that's it. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. So yeah, this why we opened this means if you want to make any changes to this, you can do whatever you want. But this should be fine for us, so we can quit this, no problem. Also, it's just Q, not WQ for quitting in Vim, just so you know. Now what we are going to do is we are going to chroot or change root into our system. What this allows us to do means it allows us to configure our system directly from the inside. So yes, once you've done that, first thing we should do is set our time zone. Okay, how we'll do that means using this ln-sf command. Zone info. Now here instead of region-/city, you will put your actual region/city. Okay. For me personally, that's Asia slash. Here you can if you want you can press tab over here to see the available options. You see that how there's many options right here. For me personally, that will be Asia. Now there's another subdirectory here, so again you can press tab to see what options are there. Asia. Yeah, I see Asia / I see Kolkata there, so I'll be using that. Okay, and we will symlink this to /etc/local time. There we go. Now our time zone is set. To write this to our hardware clock, we will be running this command: hardware clock synchronize to hardware clock. Okay, that's the command. Good. Let's check our time. Okay, that's kind of concerning. Okay, that's okay. We can deal with that later. Either way, now we'll get to set our locales. Okay, this won't cause much problem now. Don't worry. Now we'll get to set our locales. Vim etc locale.gen. Locales basically tell programs like what language you're using and what currency symbols to use, those kind of things basically. Okay. Now in Vim, if you want to search for a string, you can just type / and type in whatever string you want to search. Here you are looking for en_US.utf8. Now that you have found it, we can press enter and remove that little hashtag to uncomment it. Okay. You can now save the file and run locale.gen. This will generate our English locales. Okay. One more thing we have to do is we have to put this locale in another file called locale.conf, because some programs read this as well. So we create a new environment variable in this called lang en_us utf8. Okay, wow, beautiful. You can quit that. And yeah, if you changed your console keyboard layout in the first, then you will need to put that here also. Okay, I'll show you real quick. console.conf. you put here key map is equal to whatever key map you set. I'm using US, so I'll put US only. Actually, you don't even need to do this if you're on US. I just did it just to show you guys. Okay. Now we'll set a host name. To do that, we can create etc/hostname. This file we should create. Okay, and here you can put in whatever host name you want. I'll just put in Ars Linux. This is the name by which your computer will be identified on the network. Okay, so choose something that's appropriate. Good. Now, yeah, this is our host name. Now, one more thing you have to do is, which the wiki doesn't mention directly. If you click here, it mentions it. We have to do a little bit of host configuration. Okay, to do that, we'll go into etc/hosts. We go in all the way here. Notice how this is already set up for us. This 127.0. Yeah, all you need to do is just add one more line. 127.0.1.1. This becomes whatever host name you set there. In my case, it's Ars Linux, so I'll just use that. Also, if you're wondering how I did the huge space thingy, I just pressed tab. That gives you huge spaces. I think they call it indentation. So you can save this file, and yeah, that's network configuration done. Now what you want to do is you will want to set a password, a root password. Okay, this is the password for your administrator account, so make sure you keep it safe and don't forget it. You forget this means useless only, nothing can be done. So I'll just be setting this as 123, but you make sure to keep a proper password. Otherwise, someone comes and deletes everything, means gone only. Okay. Now that we have set our root password, we will install our bootloader. Bootloader basically is the thing that takes your kernel, all your boot files, and makes a nice soup out of it and boots your system. That's what bootloader does basically. Okay, you can install our bootloader here. pacman-s. Oh yeah, just so you know, pacman is the package manager of Ars Linux. That's how you install software using pacman. So pacman-s grub UEFI boot. We need these two packages. Okay. And yes, while we are here, I do want to mention one thing. We should have installed one more package during the packstrap stage. But that's okay, we can do it now also. If you want like sudo and stuff to that lets you compile things on your computer, you will need this package called basedevel. So install that also. Basedevel and git also you will need. So better you install that. Okay, I will see you when this is done. Okay, good morning people, welcome back. Now that you have installed the bootloader, we will need to actually apply this bootloader to our system now. If you remember, our main disk was called /dev/sda, correct no? So since that is only our main disk, we should install our bootloader to that only no? Good. So we run grub-install /dev/sda. Okay, wow. Oh wait, oh my bad, you have to point it to the EFI directory, which in our case will be /EFI. Remember how we mounted /dev/sda1 to /EFI? So yeah, /EFI is our EFI directory. To do that, you will pass a parameter called EFI underscore directory equal to /EFI. Okay, this should do it. Now what happened? Okay, I guess you don't really need this one. Yeah, and you need to set a bootloader ID as well. Okay, bootloader ID. This you can set it to whatever you want. I'll just set it to grub. Oh my god. Okay, guys, just give me a minute here. Yes, welcome back, guys. So I figured out the problem. It's a very honest mistake actually. Instead of an underscore here, it's supposed to be a dash. So yeah, it's okay. Very honest mistake. No worries, it happens sometimes. Once you do that, it should install. Now we once you've installed it, we should also generate the configuration file for it. Okay, you do that with grub mkconfig -o boot grub.cfg. Okay, wow, beautiful. Once you've done that, it should grub should be fine. Okay, and yeah, this is basically a functioning system now. If you want, we can reboot it and check. But before doing that, you will want to do a couple of other things. Like first of all, you'll want to create a personal user account. No, because using root is kind of pain only. As plus, it's a huge security risk just using root all the time. So let's create a user for you. To create a user, what you have to do is you can use this command user add -m. -m just makes it so that the user is created with its own home directory. So you can put whatever username here that you want. I will put Kavin K. Okay. Now to set a password for this user, you will run passwd Kavin K. Okay, that is my very secure password, and yeah, you now have a user. To make this user an administrative user, that means to allow him to use sudo powers, what you can do is first thing we can do is we can edit the sudo configuration file. It's c/sudo was. Oh wait, actually this file is meant to be edited only with the vi sudo command. Thing is, we don't have vi installed, so what we're going to do is we're going to pass an environment variable. Editor is equal to vim vi sudo. Okay, beautiful. Now that we opened it with vim, we can scroll all the way down, and you see this section here, uncomment to allow members of group wheel to execute any command. We have to uncomment this and add our user to the wheel group, then he'll be able to use sudo privileges. Okay, that's it. Just check what I did here again. I uncommented this, I removed the hash, and I saved the file. Okay, well, now we'll add our user to this group. To do that, we do user mod a and -a capital Z wheel and our username. Good. Now if we just go into this user, and if we run groups, as you can see, this person is in the wheel group now, so this should allow him to use sudo, which is pretty cool. And yeah guys, I think this is the install. Only thing left is to reboot this and see if it works. Okay, to exit out of this chroot environment, what you can do is you can do Ctrl D. Okay, then before rebooting, you will have to unmount all your partitions just in case, because if something doesn't unmount properly, then the file system will get corrupted. Okay, you can do umount -r/mnt. Now that it's done, you can safely reboot. We'll go and check it out in that VM. Okay, yes, okay, and I'll show you the boot process if I can again. Yeah, point is it has installed properly, and as you can see, we can log in as well, either as root, or we can log in as our other user that we created. Okay, and as you can see, you can use sudo commands as well. I'll enter my sudo password here, and yeah, I mean, I don't have internet here, but my point still stands. He can still use sudo commands. Okay, so that's all for today, friends. If you want to install a desktop, then you can stick around for more time. Otherwise, if you're happy with this and you wish to configure this on your own means, that's it. Take care. I will see you later. Bye bye. Also, before you guys go, I should probably mention that you should enable your network manager service so that you actually have internet. Enable now network manager. I hope you can see what is written here. Okay, wait, set font 2x. Never mind, I don't know the command. Point is, you should run this command to make sure that your network manager is actually enabled. Okay, and yeah, that's it. The people who do not need a desktop, they can leave now. Bye bye. Okay, welcome back, friends. Now that all the snobby, nerdy command line people have gone away, let's get you a desktop so that you can use your computer like a normal person. Now, to do that, first you will want to connect to the internet. Like I stated before, you need to run this command so that you actually have internet to enable your network manager. Once you have done that and you have connected an Ethernet cable, you should be fine with internet. If you have Wi-Fi means you can look up on how to use NMTUI. It's a beautiful tool for connecting to Wi-Fi. I don't have a Wi-Fi card here, so I can't really show you. See, I don't have a Wi-Fi card here. So yeah, that's that. Now we'll install a desktop. Okay. On Linux, there are various desktop environments available, but the one that is tried and tested, my favorite, is a KDE Plasma. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to install that. To install that, what you do is you run sudo pacman -s plasma, which pulls the plasma desktop and all the dependencies, and sddm. This will be your login manager. Okay, for selection you can just leave it empty, it installs everything for you. This one, just leave it at default. This one I recommend you choose a pipe wire jack, so you type 2 here. Okay, and this one I like to use Noto fonts, so I'll put 2. This one you can leave it as default, and yeah, I will see you guys once this is done. Hello there. Good morning, friends. We are back after KDE Plasma is installed. Very good. Now we'll also install a few more things to make your desktop experience more enjoyable. Okay. First thing we'll probably need is a terminal. So KDE's default terminal is console. So we'll install that. Then you may also want a web browser like Firefox, which is also essential in this day and age. I won't be installing that because I don't need it. Actually, you know what, let's install it. Console, Firefox, and what else do we need on a modern system? Noto fonts, emoji, so that you actually have emojis on your system. And if you want, you can install Noto fonts extra for the Chinese, Japanese, and other regional languages. Especially these Asian languages are there. So this font provides for those. If you want, you can install that also. Noto fonts extra, it is called. Okay, so I'll only be installing these 3, and I'll be passing the needed argument. This only installs the packages which are already not installed. So yeah, I'll see you guys when this is also done. Okay, hello there people, this is done. Now what we can do is we can enable our SDDM service so that we can log into our desktop. Sudo system enable SDDM. Okay, and yeah, that should basically be it. Once we reboot, we should be in our graphical user interface. Okay, moment of truth. Let's cross our fingers and hope that this works. Yes, and there we go. This is our graphical user interface. Enter your password and you should see your KDE login screen pull up. Beautiful. Okay friends, that's all, and yeah, this will be it for now. And yes friends, that's it. I will see you later. And yeah, for the people who are following the daily Ars install series, I will still install it again even after doing this. This is technically an installation, but I will still be doing another one. Okay, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.